Reporting. Hey! It's Precarious Pixels. Wow, I don't think I've screwed up an intro that bad in a while.
I feel like every time you expect me to make the weird entrance, and I just let you do it this time.
I know. It's like, hey, it's Tim from Precarious Pixels. And also...
Bob.
Hi. Hey. So, this week, had a lot of stuff to talk about. Bob was at a little meeting that showed off some awesome games and stuff, so we'll talk about that. A lot of stuff dropped this week. Like, I fully expected a Captain Marvel trailer to come out, but instead, Entertainment Weekly decided just to give us some nice pictures. But first, talk a little bit about some movie that came out. Or actually, I think it definitely came out this year.
A while ago, probably like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, but it's funny. It's like people like Black Panther's on Netflix, and you don't even think about it, but Black Panther came out this year.
Yeah.
It's so strange. It seems like it was like forever ago.
Oh, we should talk about the Oscars.
Oh, yes.
As well. I don't know if you saw that.
We did talk about that.
Yeah, but they undid it.
They
undid it.
Oh, man, I did not see that.
I'm sorry, speaking of Black Panther, because people were upset that they did that specifically because of Black Panther.
Oh, I thought they did it because of Avengers Infinity War.
No, if one of those movies was going to be up for an Oscar, it was going to be Black Panther.
That's true.
But we'll make this quick. I'll make it short and sweet.
Right.
The Oscars is no longer going to have a whatever that other category was for Best Picture.
Most popular movie of the year kind of thing. Yeah.
It's gone. They backpedaled.
Yeah. Which I was just like, why they couldn't see that was a problem in the beginning.
Well, yeah. But I think it was just to get their names in the news again, and now they'll have to actually say that movies that are popular aren't bad because they're popular.
Yeah. This is kind of like the weird, snooty art gallery guys kind of like having to say, yeah, your popular art is art as well. Which I don't understand why that's ever been a problem. I mean, they did give Lord of the Rings Best Picture.
Yeah.
And like a
Titanic.
Yeah. I don't understand why that's such an issue.
I'm super hyped because now,
Yeah. Now it's like, now they could have, like, it could be like they could actually vote in Black Panther.
Yeah. Or, I don't know, anything.
Jurassic Park.
Like, they don't have to limit their Best Picture. Is I think what makes it great. It's almost like Best Picture should be all-encompassing.
Yes, it should be.
So it's almost that's the way it should work.
But yeah, I did not hear that they had backpedaled on that. That's awesome.
They did that earlier this week, and I meant to tell you because we had talked about it, and I just thought of it when you said Black Panther.
Yeah, so that means the movie we're going to talk about, Upgrade,
my God,
could actually win Best Picture now.
I would consider this, from the downgrade that happened before, this is an upgrade to the Oscars again.
Yes.
Back to what it should be, almost. Exactly. Now just nominate movies that deserve it.
Exactly. So, you saw Upgrade.
I did see Upgrade. It's good.
It's good?
It's
all
good.
Right. That's all we need to say.
That's it.
Moving on.
No, I strongly recommend you watch Upgrade as long as you don't mind some gore.
Yeah, I could definitely tell from the trailer there's some gory parts to it.
Who did you think directed Upgrade? Because I heard who it was, and I didn't believe it until... I only heard it after I saw it.
Steven Spielberg.
It's not Steven Spielberg. I don't even know the guy's name, but he's the director of 3 other movies in a series that when I heard it, it blew my mind. When I saw the movie, thinking about having seen the movie, let me reverse that.
Okay.
It makes sense because his cinematography is so good. Because some of the shots in these 3 movies are shots that make sense as being very creative.
Okay.
It's the guy who directed Saw 2, 3, and 4.
Okay. I could definitely see that.
So if you remember, one of the things, I hated every Saw movie after 1.
Right.
I saw, I think, 6 of them? I never saw the last one.
How many there was.
Or the one after that.
Yeah. Well, there was one that was like the they stopped calling them Saw, and it was like Jigsaw is like the last one they did.
Right. So they had Saw 7, which only became Saw. It's not called Saw 7.
Right.
It was called Saw 3D, I believe.
Okay.
But on the video release, whatever, it was Saw the Final Chapter.
Right.
And then the final chapter led to, of course, Jigsaw.
Which I didn't see that either.
So I didn't see the final chapter, 7, 3D, whatever it's called, and I didn't see Jigsaw. But I can tell you that they're all stupid after 1.
Yeah, they do kind of like weirdly backpedal what happens to the main character, like all that stuff. It's strange.
But they didn't get the point.
Yeah.
The point was never about it being a horror gore fest.
Right.
That's like saying the point of 7 was that it was a gross out horror film.
Right, it really wasn't.
Right. I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
But that's not the point.
Right.
Which, whatever. But the shot with the shotgun through the keyhole in Saw 2.
Okay.
Is what makes me think that this guy is, like, really good with amazing, like, cinematography. Like, just skill with making things different and exciting when it's just a shotgun on the other side of a door.
Right.
Like, it's just that, but it's so intense. Well, this Upgrade is all about cool shots. So let me break down the plot of the movie, because I totally didn't do that and people don't know what it is.
Yes. So.
Guy, he's like a Luddite in a future.
Right.
You might not even know this from the movie, but it takes place in the future.
Yeah. I could definitely tell like some of the science stuff that was going on was a little bit beyond now.
Well, they make it very clear at the beginning when the girl is driving home, I should say riding home in her car that drives itself.
Right.
That, let's just say it's done on a budget, that stuff, because the car looks like something you would see from an 80s movie about the future.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Everything else is great. Like, it's a Blumhouse action film, which is weird.
Which they've kind of like, you know,
they branched
out. They've done some other stuff that's like action. I think they did I want to say Birth of the Dragon, which is the Bruce Lee one that
really? They did. I thought that was WWE.
I think it was in association with Blumhouse, though.
Okay.
It might have been. I'm not entirely sure.
But either way.
Yeah.
He gets in an accident. But it's not an accident. It's a hit on him and his wife.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not going to spoil any more about how that came to be, because that's what the movie's about.
Right.
But his wife gets killed. He gets paralyzed from the neck down.
Okay.
And this guy he had fixed a car for says, "Hey, I can save you. I can make you walk again. What if I could do that?" And he puts this robot thing in his neck.
Right.
And one of the things I don't think they make obvious in the movie, or in the trailers, is that it's sentient.
Yeah, well, it talks to him. Like, they definitely show in the trailers that it talks to him. And as I think there's even a point where it's like, can I have control?
Right. It thinks.
Right.
It's very important that it thinks.
Right.
And he goes after the guys that did it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spoil anything about that, but it is a guy who is just a normal Joe in crazy fight scenes that he's not necessarily all that willing to be in at some point. So what I was saying to Tim is there's shots where he looks terrified at the fact that he's in this fight, and he's like looking away, freaking out while he's beating up bad guys.
Right.
To the extent of murder.
Yes. Which I could see, like, yeah. Because if you were a machine, you don't have any kind of, like, hesitation with any kind of violence, probably, to, like, the form of, like, I'm thinking of anybody's, like, just disarming a person. I'm just going to destroy these people completely.
Yeah.
To the point where they can no longer hurt me. Which makes logical sense to a machine.
And torture to get a result.
Right. Oh, does that happen in there?
It happens in there, too.
Oh, that has got to be weird. Because it's like a guy... So I'm guessing the machine is torturing and the guy is
he can't look at it.
He can't like stop it from doing that.
No, he knows it's happening because
Right.
he needs to get the result.
Right.
So he knows it's happening, but it's grossing him out, so he can't look at it.
That's got to be awesome.
It's really good. I will say, I saw the ending coming a mile away.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you necessarily would.
Okay.
I don't know if everyone would. I just happened to see it because it made sense to me from, like, whatever. But anyway, the movie's great.
Okay.
The bad guy's pretty good.
The action, obviously, is...
The action's amazing. The shots, like, their shots, even if you haven't seen the trailer yet, go online, watch the trailer for Upgrade 2018, the movie. And some of the shots in the trailer alone, they're the reason I watched the movie. I didn't watch it because it was Blumhouse. I didn't watch it because of who was in it, because it's not really major actors.
Right, it's not like super well-known people.
But so good.
Yeah. I remember the thing that I saw that interested me was such an interesting camera shot where it's like he gets knocked down and the camera sees him kind of like fall back, but then immediately like it's like his body standing completely upright.
Yeah. Like
beyond what a person can do unless they're like have super control of their body, which normal people don't really have that. It was like I saw that and I was like, oh, that's so weird and interesting. But the way the camera like followed his fall and then immediately followed his standing up in a very odd way, like very mechanical kind of way.
Yeah, the whole movie when he's moving around after, he's very odd and mechanical, and that's 80% of the film.
Yeah,
so good.
It sounds great. I'm kind of like, I'm definitely gonna check it out when I get the chance. And speaking of people who move amazingly,
oh my god,
you've been playing a certain game that's coming out, Mr. Spiderman.
Mr. Spiderman.
Yeah.
Yep, Spiderman.
Spiderman. It's Mr. Spiderman.
Yeah, no, I got Spider-Man. The game. It came out, I think officially, we can say it came out Thursday at 9 p.m.
Okay.
But yeah, I played about, I said an hour and a half before, probably closer to like 2 hours of the game so far. The swinging's great. Which
is like the main thing. Like that's the thing that you can't screw that up. Like if for any reason you can. Oh, I've played
the last 6 games.
Yeah, exactly. I've played versions of it that have done horrible jobs with it. It's not as fluid, and it really brings you down. Like trying to play a game that way. But like we were talking before. About Spider-Man 2, the movie game that they did for PlayStation 2, which I think was one of the best versions they had done, mechanics-wise, for like fluidity, the way you moved, you felt like you were actually like Spider-Man swinging around the city. It was incredible. So, and this kind of you think has that kind of like same thing where you're swinging around the city and it feels super fluid.
It feels great. I mean, the guys know how to do motion. It's it's Insomniac.
Oh, okay. So the guys who did
Sunset Overdrive.
Yes, and also the guy who had the electric powers? Isn't that him?
Infamous.
Infamous.
That's Sucker Punch.
Oh, okay.
Those are the guys who are doing the next big Sony exclusive that you're hyped for.
Oh, okay.
Which is Ghosts of Sushi Monsters.
Ghosts of Sushi. Yes, those guys.
Ghosts of Tsushima.
Ghosts of Tsushima.
That's those guys.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the other Sony studio.
Okay.
But because Insomniac's not Sony necessarily.
Right.
They made Sunset Overdrive, which was Xbox.
Right. And they did War of the Monsters. I'm pretty sure they did War of the Monsters.
I think War of the Monsters might have been Sony Santa Monica.
Really?
Which at the time was the Twisted Metal guys.
Oh, well, yeah. But I always thought that was Insomniac, too.
Maybe I'm wrong. But they definitely made Sunset Overdrive. And you could see a lot of that movement and like the moving around the walls and like keeping things going fast.
Yes.
In this game. The combat, however, is Batman.
Oh, like the Arkham games.
It's Batman mixed with Spider Powers, did they?
It's Santa Monica Studios, yeah.
That made War of the Monsters?
They did War of the Monsters.
Oh, so it's the guys who made the God of War.
Yes.
Yeah. They're good.
They are good. They are really good.
Unfortunately, they'll never make a good Twisted Metal again.
Why do you think that?
Because Dave Jaffe left.
Oh, that's true.
He left and made his own studio that went out of business. Hey, guys, if you're really successful, don't leave.
Yeah, just ask for more money.
I'm pretty sure they went out of business. Just like Cliffy B's studio.
Mm-hmm.
Like the guy who made Gears of War great.
Right.
He's gone now.
Yeah. Now I'm just worried about Kojima.
Kojima? Oh, no. Death Stranding is all the Sony money in the world.
Yeah.
It'll never go anywhere. Like, it'll get made.
Mm-hmm.
People won't understand it. And he'll make another one. And people still won't understand it, but it'll be a success. It won't matter. As long as the combat's fun.
Right.
It'll be good.
Okay.
And the first one, no matter what, it doesn't even matter if the combat's good. He just needs to make the second one good.
Okay.
That's how ingrained he is with the gaming community. The first one doesn't even need to be good.
Okay.
I promise.
Well, I mean, but he's like all the.
It's going to be a success. It doesn't matter.
Like I know the Metal Gears have always had like.
Metal Gear 2 was hated when it came out.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Okay? But it didn't matter because Metal Gear 3 made a fortune.
Yes, because it was amazing.
But it didn't matter that it was amazing.
Right.
Because Kojima made it.
Right.
Right? It still was going to make money.
Yeah. Snake Eater's the third one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the one that's in the past.
Yeah, it basically takes place during the 80s. I think it was the 80s. Was it the 80s or the
Late
90s?
60s and early 70s.
Oh, that's right, because it's supposed to take place... Like, yeah, okay.
It's the Cold War.
That's right.
I mean, the 80s was the Cold War, but the 80s was the Peace Walker game.
Right.
And Metal Gear 5, 4 is in the future.
Hmm.
Don't ask. It's Kojima.
It's Kojima. Weird stuff.
But the fifth one was the only one that felt good to play. How's that? How's that?
The fourth one was Sons of the Patriot. No,
Guns of the Patriots.
Guns of the Patriots.
Mm-hmm. The second one was Sons of Liberty.
Right.
The third one was Snake Eater. The fourth one was Guns of the Patriots. The fifth one was Ground Zero / Phantom Pain.
Right. Phantom Pain. And talk about weird stuff.
Oh yeah,
that whole thing is bonkers. But
it's the only one
amazing.
that ever felt like a fun game to play. Like
right.
The others are great stories.
Yeah.
They control interestingly. Okay. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Right? They're complicated.
They are.
You can learn them, but does it have to control like that? And then I think he finally learned his lesson with 5 because Konami said to him, "Hey, you know what? You should release this game at some point." And he said, "You know what? Let's make some money with this demo." That's $40 or $30 or whatever you charge for it. I think it originally was 40 and then they dropped it to 30.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that crowdfunded the rest of 5 before he got let go.
Right.
Unceremoniously.
Yes.
So to which he was greeted with millions of dollars from Sony to make an exclusive.
Yeah, because he's just, I mean, he really has like a diehard following, and it's earned, but also sometimes you just don't know where he's going with it, but it does lead somewhere. Might not be obvious to everybody, but definitely is somewhere.
He's kind of like the opposite of Peter Molyneux.
Okay.
So Kojima, his thing is he promises bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, but he makes it.
Yes.
Whereas Molyneux keeps promising big, doesn't make it,
right?
And that's why you don't see Molyneux anymore.
Right.
He had a Kickstarter thing that was like a phone app, for real.
Okay. Of what?
A game. Have you heard of it?
Nope.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Unfortunately, that's a product of being a hot rod or a big celebrity in gaming. Is there's guys out there who don't handle it well.
Yes.
And then they let it go to their head, and then they have to learn their lesson.
Right.
So hopefully, like I want David Jaffe to come back big,
right,
and strong, and make a great game.
Mm-hmm.
But now, David Jaffe, the guy who brought us God of War, isn't the guy who brought us the God of War that's one of the best games of all time.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's this other guy called Corey Barlog.
Okay.
And the fact that I know that name now, and he worked on the last two.
The last two God of Wars?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But he made the new one.
Okay.
He's that guy.
And honestly, that speaks a lot to him because this last one is not like the other ones.
It's not like the other ones, and it's
really different.
But look at the reviews.
Everybody seems to, boy, come here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's the boy game.
Yes. But apparently it looks amazing.
Oh, it plays great.
I mean, and the story is, interesting in its own way.
It's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Like, that is a masterpiece in gaming. That one is... I don't think anybody will ever find a reason to hate it. Mm-hmm. Aside from it's difficult. And if it's difficult, I get it. But there's an easy mode.
Yeah. And honestly, you don't want a game you can just breeze through.
I can only think of one person who might hate it. And that's David Jaffe.
Yeah.
When he probably said, you guys will never succeed without me. Because I assume that's the reason.
Really?
Well, I mean, you leave, you form your own studio. There's got to be a reason you thought you could do that. Or should do that.
Okay. I mean, it's so strange.
Or maybe he just felt like he wanted to do creative things.
It's true. I mean, maybe it was like, they probably said, hey, come back and do another Twisted Metal, make another God of War or something like that. And maybe it was just like, no.
He made Drawn to Death. Which I think is the game that killed him. His studio. Drawn to Death is the game, and it's a great concept. I really dig the concept. And that's the thing, I want him to succeed. Right. I want David Jaffe to succeed. Because he made, the concept behind his game is an entire third-person shooter, multiplayer online game. Mm-hmm. The problem is that it's a third-person multiplayer online shooter in the time of Fortnite and Overwatch and whatever else.
Right.
PUBG and Call of Duty and Battlefield. And he decided that a shooter third-person was the way to go.
Right.
That takes place in a kid's notebook. And all of the characters, because they're all heroes, it's a hero shooter.
Okay.
Which is another problem right now, because everything's a hero shooter. And what that means is a shooter where every character that you pick plays slightly differently.
Yes.
And they all have abilities that you get over time or through, they go faster with kills. Even Black Ops 4 has that now. But it takes place on a kid's notebook, and there are all these drawings that he came up with. And that's the part that I think is cool.
Yeah, no, that is cool.
I would love to see that game if it wasn't a third-person online shooter hero. Like a hero shooter.
Yeah.
I would hate... and it's an arena. It's an arena shooter even.
Oh, really?
So it's that, but Quake.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because honestly, there's... Just there's Fortnite, like you were saying, there's so many other things that are kind of fall in that vein.
Right, and the reason it had the hits it had at the start was because it launched, it's a PlayStation exclusive, as a PlayStation Plus free game.
Oh, okay.
That's why it was successful at first.
Okay.
But I think it's dead now.
Yeah, that's a shame.
It is a shame, because I really want that guy to succeed. I think he's a creative genius. I think he's responsible for 3 major Sony properties.
Yeah.
That 2 are underappreciated. Mm-hmm. And the third one isn't.
Right.
So you have your War of the Monsters.
Right.
Which... God of War and Twisted Metal.
Black.
And God of War is the only one they care about.
Right.
No, all the Twisted Metals.
Oh, really?
He was there from the beginning.
Oh, okay. I thought he worked on just Twisted Metal Black.
No.
I think that he had taken over, no, maybe I'm not.
I remember reading interviews for him for Twisted Metal 3.
Okay.
When they brought in, Rob Zombie with 4, I think.
Where is Twisted Metal Black take?
It's 5.
Okay. Well, that's the one I remember being the big breakthrough because
it had the big story and the cool cutscenes, and it was really twisted.
It was really dark. I remember there was the point where it was the sweet... Was it Sweet Tooth? Mm-hmm. And he's his head is on fire like Ghost Rider. And it's just the weirdest thing. But
Twisted Metal always had the dark stories.
Yeah, it did.
It was just Black was the first one to have it in cutscenes that were in motion. Because Twisted Metal before that, I think, was just panels like Mortal Kombat.
Right. It was just like, here's a description of like what this character, his backstory kind of thing.
What they want, and then what happens at the end. Where
Right.
they win, and it's always like some twisted take on that.
Exactly.
But the Twisted Metal Black thing was like the twisted take was at the beginning.
Right.
Like
how they got into the situation they were in.
Yeah.
No, it was good.
But Spider-Man.
Yeah, we were getting way off topic here. But yeah, Spider-Man, you've played it, you said the swinging is amazing. Have you, what other stuff have you gotten into?
I've gotten my second suit, which you get pretty early on.
Right.
Which is the suit that's on the cover. You start out in normal Spider-Man gear.
Oh, okay, so I thought the white spider suit was, something you started off with. So that's what's special about that suit?
Nothing except the person who helped create it.
Okay, so this is the Doc Ock one.
Yes. Spoiler alert.
Well, if you get it within the first 5 minutes...
like 25 minutes.
Okay.
You get that suit probably 25 minutes into the game.
Okay.
And the person who helps with it is Doc Ock.
Yeah.
But that is a pretty big spoiler because nobody really knows that he's in that game. Unless you're you.
So sorry, spoiler alert, everybody.
It's alright. Pretty sure if they're listening...
Dr. Octopus is in a Spider-Man game.
Well, he's the last member... At that point, let me tell you how this is set up and why it's frustrating that until now they've finally mentioned that he's Sinister Six is in it.
Okay.
At the very beginning of the game, you arrest Kingpin.
Yes.
That's the first boss fight, but it's a tutorial boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
The cop who you work with, whose name I'm blanking on right now, Yuri something.
Oh, okay.
It's an Asian lady, but I'm blanking on her last name.
She's a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, right?
No, she's a cop.
Oh, she's a cop. Okay.
But she might be in the comics a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. See, this is the thing. It's different than the comics.
Right. I don't think they probably aren't allowed to use S.H.I.E.L.D.
They have Avengers Tower. They have to be able to use S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, I don't know, because I'm trying to think of, was there references to S.H.I.E.L.D. and Homecoming?
They have Avengers Tower, Tim.
But is there references to S.H.I.E.L.D.? I'm trying to think, was S.H.I.E.L.D.
Who's transporting Iron Man's tech?
Him. They don't mention, I don't think they mention S.H.I.E.L.D. It's only, they're like, hey, we're moving this to Avengers Mansion. Even where they're holding well, wait, now I'm trying to think.
You're blowing my mind right now if S.H.I.E.L.D's not included.
Because I was just thinking, no, it has to be S.H.I.E.L.D. because don't they mention S.H.I.E.L.D. at the very beginning?
Yeah.
When he's at the Vulture, or is that the NSA? They said this is an NSA thing. But there's a guy there who looks like a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, but I'm trying to think, did they actually say S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Well, when I get further in, we'll say if they're S.H.I.E.L.D.
Because they say damage control, and that's a different thing that they could probably mention.
I think they call themselves Homeland Security.
Homeland Security, and I think damage control is where they're the warehouse where they hold all this stuff. But I'm trying to think, I don't remember them ever mentioning S.H.I.E.L.D. or S.H.I.E.L.D. agents or anything like that.
Right now you're working with a cop who's helping you to sort of
probably they did. I'm probably maybe it is S.H.I.E.L.D., but I'm not sure. I don't know.
But they show this icon, he says, off to Rikers with you.
Okay.
And they don't say Strikers Island, which I think is the DC. Is that the DC thing, Strikers Island?
Yeah.
But he actually says off to Rikers with Kingpin, and then later she tells you no, he was sent to the Raft.
The Raft is their prison for supervillains.
And he says with all those other guys, and then on the screen pops up 5 other people that are there, and it's 5 of the Sinister Six. And it's 3 on the top row,
right?
2 on the bottom, not in the center. They're to the left side, and there's a clear spot for the 6th person of the Sinister Six. Yeah. And then it's well, back to work, and he goes to the lab that he works in.
Right.
And the guy that works there is Otto Octavius.
Yeah.
And he's your partner, and you're working on stuff. And he helps you design the suit. Spoiler alert.
Yes. Sorry.
It's okay, but that's how you get the second suit.
Right.
The rest of the suits, from what I can tell, aside from one that you get for collecting all the backpacks. Mm-hmm. So one of the collectibles, which is great, that you get in the game, is backpacks.
Okay.
That Parker left in different spots when he was in high school.
Oh, okay.
To go fight crime.
Gotcha.
which I think is great. And every time you pick one up, you get a story about the item that was in that backpack, and each one is like a different thing. So one of them is like a knuckle duster from like one of the guys he fought, but another one is oh my god, a picture of Uncle Ben, and there's iconic things from the comics as well.
Okay,
that I'm just totally blanking on now because I've only collected a few.
Now they said he's been Spider-Man for 8 years.
Oh yeah, they say it in every interview known to man.
Yes, and we've wondered why this point has been brought up a lot. Has there any mention of Gwen Stacy?
No.
Any mention of the Green Goblin? Or any goblin?
No, but Norman Osborn is the mayor.
Is the mayor?
He's the mayor of New York right now in the game.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there's no mention of like
no goblin.
No goblin.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
But I'm not that far into it. Like I've only encountered Kingpin.
Right.
And the guy I know is Mr. Negative, but I only know that from the trailers leading up to it.
Yeah,
And
they've released
like
all
interviews
stuff.
talking about him.
Right.
I haven't met another bad guy that's a main bad guy.
Okay.
At all. Aside from Otto.
And the other, besides... so it's Mr. Negative, the Rhino, Vulture.
You mean that are in that icon?
Or in the Sinister Six, yeah.
Vulture?
Yeah.
Scorpion. Mr. Negative is not in that picture.
Okay.
Which is why, until you... That's the other reason they... it doesn't make sense. There's 7.
Okay.
So it's Vulture, Rhino, Scorpion, Shocker. Oh my god, I'm blanking on one. Vulture.
Is it Sandman?
It's not Sandman.
Mysterio?
Nope. There's... Oh my god, I gotta look it up. Give me 1 second.
Speed Demon?
It's not Speed Demon, although that name is amazing.
Yeah. It's basically like the evil Flash of the Sinister Six.
No, it's not. Are you serious?
Yeah, there's a guy called Speed Demon.
No way.
And that's his ability, he's super fast.
He's just...
Is it the Lizard?
No.
So the Lizard's not in the Sinister Six.
He's not.
That's interesting.
It's, Electro, Rhino, Scorpion, Vulture. Did we say all those?
No, we didn't say Electro.
There you go. There's your
so
5.
No Shocker.
No.
Okay.
Electro. Did I say Shocker?
Well, no, you said Electro, but I was also... Because there's been versions where they've had Electro and they've had Shocker.
But it's weird, because I just assumed from the fact that Mr. Negative was a known bad guy...
Right.
That it was him. And everybody, I guess, just assumed that. But then they had that trailer from E3. And if you remember the end of that trailer... Yeah. They're all fighting him. And then he looks up and he says, "Oh, it's you."
Right.
Or "Oh, you," or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, "You two," or something. Like, basically, like, surprised to see somebody who they don't show.
So you just assume it's Mr. Negative, or I assumed that it was Mr. Negative or somebody else. But I assumed, to be honest, Green Goblin.
Yes.
But I don't think Green Goblin's in it. At all. Or as Green Goblin, I don't think.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Because...
And I mean, there is, like... Spider-Man does have a deep bench of villains.
There's so many.
There's so many. There are ones that... I mean, it could be, like... Sinister Six has been... Sandman has been involved in that. There's been other versions of other... Like, there's, like, a female Scorpion. There's been... Venom has been in the Sinister Six before.
Silver Sable is also in this game.
Yes. Which also is a weird thing to have her, because Silver Sable is, like, not really a villain. She's kind of worked for and against. She's a mercenary. Mm-hmm. And government agent. Sometimes she works for the government. She runs, like, a suicide squad, kind of like a villain sometimes. Sometimes it's like she's working with Spider-Man. Like, so it's like that's a weird one as well. That she's included.
I'm very excited to see how it turns out.
Yeah. And they announced the DLC.
The first DLC is going to have Black Cat in it.
Which is awesome. I always thought that was great.
But I want to see what they do with the other two.
Yeah.
Because I know what they do with the Lego games.
Right.
And this is the closest thing I think we'll get to a Marvel Cinematic Universe style game.
That is kind of a thing now. I'm kind of like wondering, because they've talked about they've talked about this Avengers game that they've been working on, the Square Enix one. What nothing has really been shown other than like weird cutscene footage, which doesn't really show anything.
I don't think we'll see that game this gen.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see it on PS5 and Xbox next.
I always thought they'd do like a Secret Wars kind of thing or whatever, because they're not going to do a fighting game because they want to do that. They can do Capcom. But
from what I heard, they were attempting to make something similar to Destiny, which is a terrible idea.
No, as a real, I figured if anything they were going to do like you could do the DC Universe Online.
They wanted a games as a service game with the superheroes,
right? Like
that's what that
City
is.
of Heroes, kind of like.
But DC Universe Online sucks because you don't get to be the guys.
Yeah. And
you don't get to control the way you want it to. Like, what you want is a Spider-Man style game.
Right.
The reason Destiny is so successful, or to a point. The first one was amazingly successful. The second one it launched was amazingly successful. People fell off. But the reason it works is because you get to play it well. You don't have Warcraft where you do button presses and motions happen.
Right.
It's a well-controlled shooter, and you keep playing because of the rewards.
Right.
The only way that works with superheroes, sadly, is if you're not the superheroes.
Right.
Like if you're not Hulk.
Yeah.
Because there's 30 Hulks on the screen.
That is kind of like a thing too. But I can imagine there's got to be a way to handle that because you play Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
Certain people are playing the same character, aren't they?
Nope. I mean, unless you're... Well, you could do it in quick match. So technically...
Yeah.
But...
There's nothing where it's like, I'm playing as... I can't think of the...
Let's say Mercy or Tracer.
Yeah, Mercy. I guess Tracer would be a good one. I imagine a lot of people... Tracer's very popular. A lot of people play... Like, is that, like, there's never, like, one where it's like, oh, there's 3 Tracers running around?
In quick match, you could see that in, like, they call it No Limits, which is a mode where you're not limited to one of each character.
Okay.
But Games as a Service isn't that.
Right.
Like, that's not Games as a Service. Games as a Service is a game that keeps you playing because it's constantly evolving. It works to an extent. You could say Overwatch is that.
Okay.
You could never make a hero shooter with superheroes.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Disney would go for it. I don't think you can make an entire game built around that. And which superheroes have guns? Like, you're literally limited at that point to Scarlet, to Black Widow, and to Hawkeye.
And Punisher.
Which, no. And it's called Avengers.
Exactly.
So, it's not going to have Punisher. You could do it as a combat game. But I don't know, man. I don't think it could be a games as a service. I think it needs to be a story-based third-person action game. And I think when they're pushing for games as a service, it's going to fail. And that's a shame. And it wouldn't be the first time Disney did that. Because if you remember, there was another shooter that they backed from another company that knows how to screw things up. Twice.
Mm-hmm.
And it was called Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah.
And it hurt them.
Yeah.
It hurt that company, which, by the way, we should talk about the Battlefield beta. And something that was data mined. Oh my god.
Oh yeah?
You earn points by playing.
Right.
Which you can use for perks.
Yeah.
You can also buy those points, supposedly.
Okay.
So imagine if one of those perks was, hey, aim down the sights faster.
Oh, wow.
Imagine if Quick Draw in Call of Duty was purchasable for money.
That's, yeah.
Yup. So you could not more literally be paying for an advantage.
That is a huge advantage.
So EA managed to find a way to make something even grosser.
Wow.
Yep.
Good job.
Just when you think they can't mess it up more.
Yeah.
Like, after everything that happened a couple weeks ago, I told you about that. Did we talk about that?
I think we did talk about that.
If you don't like playing as a woman, don't buy our game.
Yeah,
and
we did talk about
that guy
that.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Really
the game
gross.
got delayed, by the way, last week.
Oh, it did? They put a delay on it?
They delayed it less than a week after he said that. So, when I was still at that conference, the day I was leaving, I landed in the plane on Thursday.
Right.
Checked my phone.
Yeah.
Delayed. Because the game's not ready. And I imagine that the fact that they have a beta that started, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago.
Okay.
And people see that, might have something to do with it, but the beta was after. So, are they removing that? Or are they finding a way to harness that better? I know of another game that had a beta that saw the microtransactions, people got really mad at it, then didn't buy the game. You would think that they would say this isn't a good idea.
Yeah.
They had a whole year after that to not do that, and yet.
And yet it's still happening.
Now it's November 20th, by the way.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, but don't worry, because they found a way to be more obnoxious about their release dates. Before, if you bought their Hyper Deluxe Edition, which totally doesn't include microtransactions,
Okay.
at $80, you got the game 4 days early.
Oh, okay.
Now, Tim, now you get it 5 days early. So you can get it November 15th. Or was it October 16th and 19th? So now it's 4 days instead of 5, or instead of 3. Whatever it is, it's an extra day. So now it's possibly the deluxe is the same day as Pokemon?
Oh, that's a bad idea.
Well, do you think the week in between Call of Duty, the week after Call of Duty and the week before Red Dead was a better idea?
Yeah, no.
Like, no matter what, hey, maybe you should make the game better.
Yeah.
And don't say don't buy our game. For any reason. Don't buy our game if you... Like, here's the only way don't buy our game works.
Right.
If you enjoy being unhappy, don't buy our game.
Right.
That's the way it works.
Exactly.
Not if you... For any other reason. Like, there's no reason.
It was no reason. It was a stupid thing he said, and obviously gone.
Yeah, well...
But, again, we're getting off track. So
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. You've
good.
liked it so far.
It's really good so far. I'm loving the fact that you can just unlock costumes by playing the game.
Yeah.
I like the collectibles so far. There's one where you unlock areas of the city with radar dishes, which is so Far Cry it's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but it's crime scanners.
Oh, okay.
And when you unlock those, you actually get to see crimes in the area, and you can go chase down the bad guys.
Oh, so they put that in again.
So that mechanic is cool.
They've kind of had that for most of the Spider-Man games, I think. It's like, random crimes will happen. I remember the silliest one was like they would do like random crimes, like all of a sudden, hey, there's a bank robbery in progress, and you have to like jump on the car and stop the guys and blah blah blah. But they used to have like silly ones where it's like, my balloon, I'm losing my balloon. It's like a kid loses the red balloon, you have to jump and grab it before it floats out of range, and then give it to the kid.
I remember ignoring every single one of those.
You could actually, this was my favorite thing, you could pop those balloons with your web shooters. And the kid will cry. I remember like that distinctly because I did that by accident one time. Because I think it was like I think there was like a reward you get for like, if you do it like, I don't know, like 100 times, you get like a upgrade bonus or something like that. But it's like also with like stop like, 5 muggers or, stop 5 car chases or, whatever.
Well, there's constantly like rewards for playing this game.
Yeah. And you can't, I've heard that you cannot punch citizens in the city. You can't attack normal people.
I didn't try.
Yeah.
Whoever did is a sick weirdo.
No. Everybody would try that because we're in the Grand Theft Auto world. Of course you would try that.
I didn't. Like, honestly, I did not attempt it.
Never tried to, throw a car at an old lady crossing the street.
Am I weird in saying that I'm Spider-Man? I shouldn't be doing that?
Yeah. No, it's kind of normal. And I figured, like, no, you wouldn't include that in a game. Of course you can't punch the people. Who wants to punch the person?
Maybe
Not saying you wouldn't try, but I'm just saying that could be another thing you could watch out for.
Let me explain to you. I'm not that way, because I'll definitely try the messed up stuff in a game.
Right.
Anytime I'm driving in a car, in a game, and I see somebody on a motorcycle, I hit it.
So they've almost kicked you out of Ghost Recon?
Yeah, because, like, her harming innocent civilians, like, a Ubisoft thing. It's a thing they've had forever.
Right.
Since, like, Assassin's Creed 1.
Okay.
Which is harming innocent civilians will not be tolerated. And, like, if you do it a couple times, it'll, like, kick you out of the game.
Yeah, it's like you did it by accident.
Yeah, but, like, in Grand Theft Auto, absolutely see a motorcycle, drive over it. Yeah. I don't care if it gets me into a car chase with the cops.
Right.
I do it.
Yeah.
But in Spider-Man, I don't think I've ever attempted in Spider-Man or Batman to hurt. Batman is very, very good about it. They don't even have innocent people.
Yeah, I think in most of the Arkham games, there's not really a lot of innocent people unless it's like hostages have been taken or something like that.
I did do it in Arkham VR. I threw batarangs at Alfred, and there's nothing. Like, it doesn't even make contact. It's so disappointing. Like, I must have sat there when I first got my VR.
Right.
For, like, 30 seconds straight, just because, like, it works with the controller, so it's just, like, just throwing batarangs at Alfred's head and nothing.
Of course.
Like, you should at least, like, react to it and say, Bruce, stop it. Or Master Bruce.
It would have been even better if he just catches everyone.
That would be brilliant.
It's like, don't waste these. It's like, I've gone around the Batcave and had to pick these up several times.
But instead it just goes through him.
It's like, I have to polish each one of these.
It was so disappointing. But yeah, like, I didn't try it in Spider-Man. I'm going to try it now.
I don't think you can. I'm pretty sure you can't. And honestly, I think the things you can do with citizens is, like, you can take a selfie with them. If you're, like, I guess if you've done some stuff that you've saved some people, they say, hey, Spider-Man, give you a high five. And
they react to me in the streets.
Yeah, like, hey, Spider-Man, you're the best. Or, hey, Spider-Man, I hate your guts, you're a menace. Like, I'm sure there's, like, those people screaming, you're a menace.
I took a photo from on top of a car.
Oh, okay.
It's got all sorts of New York landmarks.
Mm-hmm.
But it has other Marvel landmarks. Like, I showed you a picture earlier. I took a picture of Fogwell's gym.
Right.
Which is, if you guys don't know, that's where Howlin' Matt Murdock trained. Was his dad's name was Matt too, right?
Mm.
Howlin' whatever Murdock.
No, it was Battlin' Jack Matt.
Battlin' Jack?
Battlin' Jack Murdock.
Oh, well then who was Howlin' Matt?
What is it?
Who's Howlin' Matt?
Howling
crazy? Howling Matt Murdock.
Howling Matt Murdock. Might have been. I think there was a point where
maybe it was in the bad Ben Affleck movie?
No, I don't know. Now I don't know, because I think they called him, like, I don't know if they called him Battlin' Jack, and he was like it was like the devil, Jack the Devil Murdoch or something like that. Oh yeah,
that was a thing too.
Yeah.
That was too on the nose. That was in the movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, but you go to Daredevil's gym that he trains in at night, and then Foggy shows up and he's like, how do you train in here? You're blind. You're like, what is this, cinematic TV show universe thing? But anyway, that's there, and there's like some other cool things. There's a lot of Marvel stuff. The Avengers Tower is in the game.
Yeah. Is the Fantastic Four Tower in there?
I'll look for it.
Okay.
I don't know if it would have been.
Because I remember them saying that it might be in there somewhere.
They could just add it.
But, I mean, honestly, you would see it. It's like the Avengers Tower has a big A on it.
Hey, you would see it.
But
I still haven't seen it.
There's a giant 4.
I still have not seen Avengers Tower myself. I haven't gone there.
Okay.
Because I haven't played that much of it. I've been collecting backpacks, fighting little Kingpin control bad guys.
I'm betting there's a Baxter building, which is the Fantastic Four's place. I hope they put a bunch of stuff in there. But it also kind of weird to me, but this is more of the movie, because Avengers Tower is not, like, in the comics, there is no Avengers Tower. I think at one point they did have an Avengers Tower, but it was only, I think, after the movie. It was always Avengers Mansion.
Well, now it is very much a tower. I think Doctor Strange's house is in it, too.
Yeah.
And Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yeah, you could find that in I think, one of the other Spider-Man games. Like, for the PlayStation 2, you could find that.
I hope I see him.
Oh, Doctor Strange?
Like, I hope he's just there.
He's just chilling?
Fighting his coat.
I think it would be awesome if, like, because I think there was something in the game, like, if you jumped on it, like, or you looked in the window or something like you ended up, like, going... No, this might not have been that... But I always thought it would be a cool idea if it like transported you to another part of the city and you didn't know how you got there.
That would be great.
That would be kind of cool if they did that.
I feel like there's a thing in one of the games, I think you might be right, where he shows up in the water. I think you might be right. I think it might have been in like Ultimate?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe we're both crazy.
It could be.
Or Amazing Spider-Man.
Could have been. I don't know.
I don't think it would have been amazing though, because that would have been at the time of the MCU. I think it would be like Ultimate.
Yeah.
Because that was before it got big and everybody got offended by everything. Before they could patch stuff like that out.
Yeah. But I think it'd be great if they had like it's so obviously if they have Fogwell's Jim in there, there's there's a Daredevil reference, so maybe you could go to Alias Investigations, like seeing Jessica Jones.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do everything I can in that game.
Yeah.
Like, so far it's great. I will try him 100%. Spiderman. Scott Spiderman.
All right. But so you so far loving the game?
So far,
loving it. All right. Speaking of Marvel, there's another big announcement that came out. Well, not an announcement that was kind of already known, but they finally showed some more stuff from the Captain Marvel movie. Like, dropped some amazing pictures. I thought maybe a trailer would be coming out soon, but maybe it's going to be a little bit longer before that. But I think this month, I think they're probably going to put out a trailer for it.
I would be shocked if they didn't put it in front of Venom.
Yeah.
So October.
Well, yeah. And on it, I mean, Venom is a Sony movie, but still.
Still technically AMC.
Yeah. Because I can't think of, like, there's no other... I'm trying to think, there's no other Marvel movies? Is there any Disney movies? Like, there's no...
Nutcracker?
Yeah.
Wreck-It Ralph?
Well, Wreck-It Ralph I could see, because in Wreck-It Ralph they actually show, I think, Iron Man and Stormtroopers and stuff like that. So they could throw it in front of that Wreck-It Ralph, too.
But I think that's like Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll wait that long.
No, they won't. They definitely won't.
It'll be in front of Venom. I really do think so.
Yeah, I think you're probably right on that. I mean, kind of makes sense.
That's October 13th or something?
Right. But I guess the big stuff they showed... Ronan the Accuser is in it. I think there's Star Force is in this as some kind of because this is about in the 90s. There's the Kree Skrull War that's going on. They actually showed Skrulls, which they didn't own that for the longest time. So that's kind of surprising that the Skrulls are back.
And that's Fox that owned that?
Fox that owned that because that was part of Fantastic Four, because Fantastic Four was the one who first premiere of the Skrulls. And
so this would be the question. How far along were they in shooting this before that?
I don't know.
Because the question then would be, did they purposely wait until everything was final to show anything?
Maybe.
Because what if they had to go back?
Yeah. But honestly, the Skrulls might have got that back with Ego. Like I remember there was like a whole thing with Fox. They had made a deal where certain characters, not main ones, but they were like, hey, you can hold on to the rights to Fantastic Four, because I think now they would have to release another Fantastic Four movie.
Probably.
Because it would have been like that time. I know that's like how the deal works, is like they have to put out a movie, even if it's a bad one, to hold on to the rights. But I think there was a thing, because Ego was in the Guardians, and I think that was like part of the deal. It was like, hey, you can hold on to the rights a little bit longer if we can have these characters and these characters back. So I think the Skrulls was part of that, and Ego for the Guardians, and I'm pretty sure that was like there might have been a few other smaller characters too. Because I think that's how. Even matter. Yeah, I think that's how they got Ghost Rider back too.
Makes sense.
So other smaller characters like that they'd purchased back. But the Skrulls look great. I have to say, like, I saw it looked really cool. The fact that it's like kind of like a weird 90s period piece where it's going to be, 9 Inch Nails and like, grunge rock kind of stuff like that. They make references to the other Captain Marvel, which was Photon. I think she had like 20 different names. I forget how many. But there was another character who went by the name Captain Marvel, who was an Avenger or whatever.
Yeah, Shazam. Her name is Zachary Levi.
No, this is a woman. Another woman who went by Captain Marvel. So...
Because that's still Captain Marvel.
Yeah. The African-American Captain Marvel.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. So there's like that, and it's like her... I think there's a reference to her mom. Like, it's like Rambeau is, I think, the last name. I think it's like Mary Rambeau, and her call sign is Photon, which kind of makes sense because her daughter uses that name at one point.
Her dad's name is John Rambeau.
John Rambeau. Spelled differently. But
it's over, Johnny.
Like New Orleans kind of Rambo. But they showed, her in a cockpit of a fighter jet. They showed her in the full Captain Marvel gear on the cover of the magazine. They showed what the Skrulls looked like. They showed Jude Law. They showed Ronan the Accuser. They showed the Star Force, which is like kind of like elite commandos of the Kree Empire or whatever. So it's like, I'm not sure how much is going to happen in this. Like, and they showed young Samuel L. Jackson, 2 eyes and hair. It was crazy.
The 2 eyes thing is going to freak me out.
It is going to freak out.
Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Wait, will they show how he loses one?
Well, I don't know, because in this one, they show, like, there's a point where he's talking to her, I'm guessing in the photograph, and he has, like, 3 scratches above his eye. So I'm just like, well, what's that about? And is it going to be like, this is how he loses? Because he loses the eye with Robert Redford. I don't think Robert Redford's showing up in this one.
No. Probably not.
Yeah. And also, this is kind of a weird one, too, because Hydra is still active in the 90s. So this is pre all that stuff, Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So they're going to have, like, they could have Hydra. I know Agent Coulson's supposed to be in this one, too. So it'll be interesting to see, like, all the stuff that's going to, like, happen. Or is there going to be, like, maybe there'll be other references. I don't know if Tony Stark's dad was still around in the 90s. No, he probably was dead already.
How long before... When did the very beginning of Ant-Man and the Wasp take place?
Of the new one?
Like, when is Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer... When are they going back? Like, when does that happen? Is that the Cold War?
Yeah. That's the 80s.
Okay, so then no.
No, yeah, that's
I was thinking maybe, like, they'd pop up.
Yeah, that could be... Like, I was thinking, yeah, because maybe Hank Pym was still around. Which he could be in S.H.I.E.L.D.
I think by then he's already gone crazy.
Maybe. And I also thought maybe Haley...
Joel Osment. Yeah.
Haley Atwell, who plays Peggy Carter, she could still be, like, 20 years. Yeah, she could still kind of be there in the background, maybe.
To be old.
Yeah.
But by then she's apparently running, or she's part of one of the heads of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right. Or they could even have... Well, I think they probably will avoid most of this, but I think the Winter Soldier could be around, too. Because they just, they deep freeze him after every mission.
Yeah.
So there could be stuff going on. Like, it's interesting that, like, what other characters are going to show up in this.
But they also have to set up what she's doing there and why she's going to save everybody. What's her motivation? And
where's she been? Like, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, they have to, like, freeze her or whatever.
I'm wondering, is the alcohol thing going to be part of it? Like, she is, like, that's a kind of, like, one of the things she, I think, overcomes at one point is, like, she has, like, a alcohol addiction. Like, is there any of that stuff going to be in it? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. They touched on it barely with Iron Man. I don't think they'd. It's pretty dark.
Yeah. I'm wondering, are they going to do the brain tumor thing? Because at one point, there was a whole thing where she was having a brain tumor. She couldn't use her powers or they was going to kill her. Like,
I don't know anything about her.
Oh, okay. Never any of the new Captain Marvel stuff?
None of it.
It's really good.
All I know is she says Shazam and she's not a little boy anymore.
Nope, that's different Captain Marvel.
Oh, just checking.
That's Shazam.
Oh, okay.
Or Kazam.
I remember when she pops out of the gym.
You mean it's Sinbad?
Sinbad.
You know what? It's the 90s. Sinbad could show up.
I hope Sinbad's in it.
I hope he does show up in Captain Marvel.
To be honest, I'd rather they made this entire movie and they replaced the guy who plays Coulson with Sinbad.
With Sinbad?
And never explained
I
it.
would totally. It's like, Agent Coulson, good to see you.
And a few years
Welcome
later...
back from your deep cover mission.
A few years later, he's just a lackey showing up to talk to Tony Stark.
Yes.
This is like, why are you white now? It doesn't matter.
Yeah. When we say deep cover, we mean deep covers.
Because in Iron Man, he's just like, he's kind of a nobody agent.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, it's like funny. I think even in Iron Man, they say they don't call it S.H.I.E.L.D. Until like the very end.
Yeah.
Which I always thought was kind of funny. It's like, no, it doesn't really work. It's always been S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of thing.
But they call it the words.
The Strategic Homeland
Yeah.
Intervention Logistics blah 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 division.
Yeah. The fact that you know that, everybody... Tim knew everything except for the E. Enforcement, maybe?
I don't know. Enforcement Logistics Division.
Whatever. That was pretty darn close, Tim.
Intelligence.
Enforcement and Logistics Division.
I don't know. I can't remember if that's what the E stands
I don't know.
Could be.
But you knew it.
S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm not sure if that's what it meant before, but I
But that's what he says, and Tony Stark says to him, you need to shorten that, and then later at the end, the big thing is, we call it S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
And, yeah, but he's like kind of a nobody agent. And the fact that Nick Fury can't even call it S.H.I.E.L.D.
What do you mean?
Well, that would rewrite the canon.
It was like not called S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, you know what? He was not... I'm not sure if he was in S.H.I.E.L.D. at the time when he was working with Robert Redford.
Man,
I don't know.
If they rewrite Iron Man 1, I'm going to be upset.
Don't rewrite Iron Man 1.
Well, I think they might.
Perfect movie. It's a great
We'll see.
movie.
We'll see in, 2032, whenever this movie comes out.
Right. But they showed a lot of pictures. I'm hoping for a trailer soon. I'm sure it's just a matter of, like, I imagine this is going to be effects heavy. It's got shape-changing scrolls, which they do make reference to that a scroll has infiltrated the Earth, is a politician, because that's why the originally some of the stories was the Kree Scroll War was there's a senator or something that talks out against superheroes, and then turns out it's a scroll that's misleading people. They've replaced they've done Captain America one time, and then recently it was the Secret Invasion thing they did, where it was you didn't know who was a scroll.
It was a bunch of people.
A bunch of people, and then they ended up bringing back people that you thought were dead, but have been just replaced over the years, which I thought was an interesting way to bring back characters that are long dead, because nobody does in comics. So they're a scroll. Spider-Woman's a scroll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the one I know.
Yeah. I mean, that was the big one. But it was, I like the Secret Empire stuff. It was interesting. It led into more, other stuff that was really awesome. But, I don't know. I kind of hope that they could do that. They had talked about doing more space stuff. They could do a whole Avengers in space, Kree, Scroll War.
That would explain the title of the Spider-Man movie. Which is? Far From Home.
Well, I think Far From Home is... I think it's he's over in Europe. I think that's what the whole thing is. He's in Europe or something like that.
With Jake Gyllenhaal.
As Mysterio. He's actually a street magician.
Is he really?
No.
I hope so.
I have no idea what... We could all be wrong, because this could be the whole Mary Jane of it all from the first one, where you think, this character's playing this person, but no, it's actually this.
No. It was quite clearly... that's the part that always bugged me. They
didn't call her MJ. Nobody said that she was MJ.
Except for her.
No. At the very end.
But I'm saying beforehand,
yeah.
She was I'm MJ. The actress, Zendaya or whatever.
No, I thought that they had not said an MJ yet. That she was I think that was the big mislead, because they wanted to keep that secret.
Not in the movie.
Right.
I'm saying outside the movie.
Right.
She was all mad at people because they got offended that MJ was black now.
Yes.
But
But then I think
there was that whole big hubbub, and then they tried to pretend.
Right, and then they pretended,
but it didn't work.
Yeah,
because she was MJ.
Yeah, which I was like, makes sense.
No, that character is Gwen Stacy. They just called her MJ.
Yeah,
she should have been called Gwen Stacy.
Well, they could still introduce Gwen Stacy.
Right, but her personality is the one they put on MJ.
I don't know.
Because I think...
Honestly, she doesn't seem like Gwen Stacy or Mary Jane.
She seems like Ultimate Comics Gwen Stacy, and that's the Gwen Stacy
a little bit, yeah.
Very much so.
A little bit, yeah.
Except for the being super smart.
Right. Well, she's in like... Well, isn't she with the... Whatever the club is that they go, like that Liz is like the head of, like the science club or whatever it is.
Gwen Stacy in the Ultimates?
No, in the Homecoming.
In this, yeah.
She's like an alternate or something. Like she's just
right.
She's obviously like the mathletes or whatever it is. I forget what it is exactly, but
science nerds.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like in the Ultimates comics, that's the only difference between that character and the Ultimate Comics Gwen Stacy.
Right.
Is that Gwen Stacy? I don't remember her being super smart.
In the Ultimates
version.
In
the Ultimate version.
Right.
But other than that, it's exactly her. Like, I wish it was her. I'd rather
that she was the Gwen Stacy character?
She was Gwen Stacy.
I think maybe they thought about doing that, but honestly couldn't, because everybody now knows where Gwen Stacy's story ends.
Right.
Yeah. But
I like her personality that way. I don't like MJ's personality. Like, I don't think that's her.
It is kind of a weird thing. They've tried to explain why MJ's personality changed. Actually, was because Gwen Stacy died, and that kind of like what changed her into like being more into Peter Parker. There's a lot of stuff. They're like, I don't know.
I don't feel this character that way. She doesn't seem right. Like not the actress. She's fine.
Oh, she's great.
I wish she had red hair. Like, that's the only thing that bugs me, because MJ always had red hair.
Yeah.
Except for in the 90s Spider-Man movie or whatever.
Yeah. Well, barely. She did have red hair at one point.
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't look right. It's weird. Actually, and then they cast the girl who's always got red hair. Like Gwen Stacy.
And made her blonde. It was Bryce Dallas Howard, which I was just like, so strange. But,
but no, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But,
stupid.
But I'm hoping for a Captain Marvel trailer.
Starring Brie Cheese.
Yes. Yes. Did you see, like, actually I thought it was pretty funny. I think it was on, I forget whose Instagram it was, but Allison Brie and Brie Larson have, I guess, the same trainer. And there's a part where, because I think, of course, she's training for Captain Marvel, and Allison Brie is training for Glow. And there's a part where I think it's like they're both like pumping iron at the same time. It's like, be prepared to fight, Allison Brie Larson, like as their name is one thing. So nice. I thought that was pretty funny. And then I have to say, like, she got super tough for Glow, which I think is a great series.
I'll have to watch it at some point.
It's really good. They're like half-hour episodes.
And I think she's really funny.
She's really funny. It's a really funny show and really well done. And it's amazing. It's based off a true story.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Who plays like the director is really good. Comedian with a mustache. Like, he's well known for that mustache.
Nick Offerman.
What?
Nick Offerman.
No, I forget his name. But he's like a famous podcaster as well. I think he's like one of the guys who really the first one to do it. But we'll talk more about this next week. Yeah. We've gone way over time, but we want to get some more information out there. But we'll review more Spider-Man. We might actually even do a record of me trying to learn how to play Spider-Man.
That is the goal.
Which will be really funny and I'm sure horrible.
No, you'll be fine.
But as always, check us out. You can find us as Bob keeps showing me crazy pics on his phone. You can find us at Precarious Pixels on Spreaker, Stitcher, and of course review us on iTunes. We'd love to hear from you. You can find me at Tim Martinek on the Instagrams. find Bob
at the Twitter at Martin, MARTON_Bob, and look for plenty of new Spiderman photos that I take from in the game.
Yeah. And Instagram as well.
I put up 2 already.
Oh, on Instagram?
On the tweets.
Oh, okay. But what about, you putting stuff on Instagram yet?
Not really.
Okay. He does have an Instagram account.
Apparently.
See if you can find it.
Yeah. Is it under my name?
I don't know. I forget if I don't know.
I literally signed up so I could follow you on Instagram because I had no idea.
Okay.
Like, I think that I only put up the one photo because I was at conference.
Okay.
And they had, like, a thing. Oh, yeah, it's at Bob J. Martin, MARTON, and you can see the worst smile ever.
The best ever Indianapolis smile picture.
That's how I smile in all the professional. Oh, look, you liked it, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
13.
No, I totally I was like.
Oh my God! It's all people I'm gonna follow all these people that apparently know me.
Bob is learning how to work Instagram, which will be interesting.
I'm learning social media.
I really want to we should record a video of it. So of course, check us out, #PrecariousPixels, and we'll be posting more stuff sooner or later.
You can look at my awful smile.
Yes, you can look at Bob's awful smile. All right, so we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
To do a little redesigning with us, you can find Bob at Martin, MARTON_BOB, on Twitter, and you can find me on Instagram at Tim Martinek, all one word, TIMMARTINEC. And you can join in us, have some fun, do your redesigns for this week's redesign. It's a lot of fun for us to do this, but we like to see fresh ideas and fresh artists doing what they do as well. You can also hashtag it Precarious Pixels and we'll find it as well.